Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I installed my Lowrance 9-inch TI2 Fishfinder and Transducer on my Hoodoo Hero 130 skiff using the Hydra Concepts clamshell covers. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. This is the product I'm going to be using in this project. It's a Hydra Concepts kayak wiring clamshell, or any boat that is HDPE or similar. So I'm using it on a skiff. And so when you open it up, it comes with a little sticker, the 4 mounting screws, the outer clamshell, and the inner rubber gasket. And this one I'm using here is for the 2 cables. I've already installed one for the 1 cable, which I'll show you. And it also comes with some directions. So let's go ahead and mount this thing in. So after reading the directions, the first thing I'll do is go ahead and cut out this template and show you how they want you to use it. After cutting out the template, I placed it on the side of the boat where I wanted to run my transducer wire. So I've got my 4 starter holes there, and I just have the screws lightly in there right now just to hold the template in place. And so the next hole I'm going to drill is just a pilot hole in the center there that I can run my paddle bit in for the 1 1/8 inch hole that I'm going to need for my transducer cable. Okay, when I used the paddle bit to drill the access hole, I didn't let it go all the way through because I want to save this piece for patching later if I need it. So I've got this little hook section in here, and I'm just going to take it out so I can use it in case I need it later. Okay, so here is the transducer connector end, and I've wrapped a piece of thin baling wire around it, and I've fished that all the way up to the center section of the skiff or whatever boat you may be working on, and then I'm going to pull it through. Now that it's been pulled all the way through, all I'm going to do is put a little marine goop on each of these 4 holes and put the gasket with the cover plate on top of it, seal it up, and I'm ready to go. So the single cable cover is now done for the transducer wire. And if you can see the little shiny stuff in here, that's just a little bit of the excess marine goop that's oozing out after I tightened it. And when you do tighten all your screws, make sure you go in alternate positions to make sure you get a nice, good seal. I've decided to run my transducer and Fishfinder wires coming out of this center section here. Now, if you use the template like they have in here, it's really not going to fit very well. So, for this application, I'm just going to go ahead and take the hard shell part of it and place it in here where I want it, and then use a marker to mark my 4 spots for the screws. And like I said, for the one in the back, it's important the orientation of this clamshell, because you have to decide where you want your wires to come out of. And because I'm going to have everything mounted on this track here, I want them coming up. So then my 2 holes here are going to be pointed in the up position. So let's go ahead and get this marked. Okay, so after drilling my pilot holes in there, I ran the screws in just a little bit to make sure that everything lines up right, and it does. So now all I need to do is go ahead and mark the center hole location for the 1 1/8 inch paddle bit. Okay, so I've run the wire through the center hole that I drilled in the front and ran it back through here on this side of the interior of the hull, because that's where I want to run my wiring. And then I've got it wrapped around the end of my transducer connector here, so I'm just going to head and pull it through. After I drilled out the 1 1/8 inch hole so I can pass the cables through, I went ahead and pulled the transducer cable through the hull, up through the hole behind here, and then I dropped down the power cable into the hole so it goes through the hull. And then I went ahead and attached the clamshell using 4 larger diameter stainless steel screws, because they'll hold better since this is a double cable clamshell. And then again, I used the marine goop to seal the holes and around the edges. This is a view of the back of the skiff at the bracket for the Lowrance 3-in-1 transducer. And the 2 bolts that are molded into the hull were actually spaced a little bit further than the standard Lowrance bracket here. So what I needed to do for these holes in here, I had to widen them out using a 1/4 inch bit to make everything line up. This is a quick overview of the installed transducer and Lowrance Fishfinder. Going to the rear, I have my 3-in-1 transducer attached with the bracket to the rear of the hull, and the transducer cable goes through the single wire Hydro Concepts clamshell, and then I run the remainder of the wire through the hull where it's coming out in the front here, along with the power cable setup, which comes out of the Hydro Concepts 2-wire clamshell, and that's going into my 9-inch Lowrance TI2 right there. So that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. Thank you.